All right, people. So our first and only review of the day is going to be for the film Minions and Monsters. Minions and Monsters is the third film in the Minions franchise here, the Minions series of movies. Minions, which is a spinoff of the Despicable Me franchise there, which had 4 movies. And this is directed by Pierre Coffin there, who is also, he's done some, I think he helped co-direct a lot of the Despicable Me there.
Yeah, he's co-director on most of the Despicable Me movies and the Minions, and he also is the voice of all of them.
Oh, nice. Okay, there you go. And what's going on with these minions this time in this adventure? And I have to say, so I don't know all the if there's extra lore in the minions and monster stuff. I don't know because this is my first one, so maybe that's why. But what the minions are, from my understanding, is like these group of things here that don't speak. They speak gibberish, which is like they speak a mix of every single language, human language, all thrown into a blender. And then they're all about in the search of an evil master to serve. So you see that. And we see in this also that with this, they're going around the world trying to be in the search of an evil master. Then that's when they get into being in Hollywood, which, hey, who can't be more evil than people in Hollywood? So they go there. They meet a director who is voiced by Christoph Waltz there, who plays Max. And this is set in the 1920s there. And then you have a set of main minions that you really follow in this that are all about the arts, that are all about trying to get into filmmaking there. You have James, you have Ed, and you have Henry there, who are kind of like a trio of them. And then the leader of these group of minions is one called Dick, who's like the leader of them. But yeah, in this 1920s Hollywood, you see them there where they have an idea, James and Harry, they want to make a monster movie. They want to make a monster movie, but they need a monster.
Well, there's a little bit more context because they get to Hollywood and they're just this huge sensation, especially because this is taking place in the silent film era. So before the talkies. So I don't want to say it because, I know you're not a big fan of this movie, but Babylon is the blueprint.
They do a Babylon kind of shout out, I think, in this, like a big party scene and everything like that of it. With that, which I was like, oh, okay, that's from that. But yeah, that's what you kind of get going on for most of this movie here. And then also, so the movie's kind of the A plot is like you have James and Henry trying to look for a monster for their big monster movie there. And then also the B plot is that you have like Dick and the other minions who are still trying to look for a master, who are still trying to look for an evil one to serve. And that person they actually run into is a person named Dort, who's voiced by Jesse Eisenberg there, who's a guy in a robot costume. And you see that in this. So yeah. So that's kind of what you got set up in this. And I would say for my experience being my first kind of Minions movie, Despicable Me movie ever, I didn't hate it. I actually thought it was pretty decent, actually, for the most part. I think it has some good gags in it. In those winning, that's the Babylon part right there. You got that, and some good kind of comedic moments kind of going on. And I think it did help that this was kind of a little bit about throwing you into film history, because the movie opens up with a woman kind of telling a group of kids, like, they're going through like a film museum. It's like, oh, James and Henry, like they're so important to movies, and let me tell you all about them. And it tells the history of these people and how they got them.
He also got a great director cameo as like he is one of the exhibits.
Yeah, that was really good. That was kind of a really funny bit there. So yeah, I think that kind of really, and again, examining kind of film history. This was in the 20s, like you mentioned, of the silent film kind of era, and then it transitions to when film went to sound in this, and when that kind of
and of course the minions, they can't speak proper English, so of course their careers tank, and that's why they go to like make this monster movie. And through it, they have this book that unleashes demons from another world, and they summon Goomy, who is voiced by Trey Parker.
Yeah. Wasn't another one of them in a other Despicable Me movie? Or am I thinking about something?
I think Matt Stone might have been in one of them. I can't be sure.
Yeah, wasn't he the dude from the 80s or something, like the 80s villain in one of the Despicable Me movies?
I think he was in either 2 or 3. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, you have Trey Parker who's in this who plays like the little green Cthulhu looking creature there. You have that. But what are your thoughts, man, on Minions and Monsters?
Yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan of the Minions. I think they're just okay. I think the first 2 movies I actually really like as far as like just kind of good, cute little, kind of throwbacks to stuff like the Three Stooges or a lot of great physical comedy. And with this one, you get all of that, and all of those jokes and stuff are well done and well put together. But you also have this energy of just this love letter and this love and appreciation for film history. And not just that, but for the passion and the creativity of filmmaking, which added this like new layer to this film, which I was not expecting, and I was surprised how well it worked.
Mm, yeah. And this is, I think, the highest rated Minions movie so far in the franchise there. I think currently on Rotten Tomatoes like 91%
Mhm.
there with that. But I think box office is not doing as strong as the other ones. So
Again,
um
only the first day of the weekend.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they'll pick up steam. You know, he said word of mouth. I don't know if it's the fact that Toy Story is already out and people go like, "Why already took your ass to go see Toy Story? You ain't taking you go see Minions 2 there with that." But maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, so hopefully it picks up steam a little bit there because I think it is pretty decent of a film there with it. And like I said, this is my first one, so I don't know what the other ones are really like. But like I said, kind of a Three Stooges type of element with this. Especially there's one scene where the director like puts them against like some barbarian people, and then it's like they fight them and everything like that. At first they're losing, but then they kind of come back and and beat the shit out of them. I thought that was kind of really good and worked really well with it. Um, and then also kind of blending in, you know, a little bit of like I said, real kind of film history.
Yeah,
Also,
there
you have like the suffragette movement that's in here as well. There's a character that's part of that.
Yeah, and one
Uh,
of my favorite things online is like the Minions actually becoming a part of women's suffrage is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, and Zoe, that's where you include Zoe Deutsch in there, who plays Debbie, who's probably one of the members of the suffragettes there. And then also you got a good voice performance also from Jeff Bridges, who plays like these two twin brothers who are heads of the studio that the director works at. And it's really interesting when he does, because when he sounds like he does make them sound like two different people. You know,
Mhm.
one is more boisterous and angry and kind of more violent, and the other one's kind of more soft and kind of kind. And I thought he did a really good job with that. How'd you like the voice cast in the movie
Yeah, the
there?
voice cast in this, they, it's a common thing with, a lot of studio animated movies. They'll just get a bunch of famous names they can put on the poster. But even here, I felt like the voice performances work really well as far as like giving each character personality and a dynamic that really stands out amongst this kind of Looney Tunes esque comedies.
Mm. And you've seen the other Minions movies, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And how
I've seen the two Minions movies. Yes.
would you think it compares to the other two?
I think this is the best made movie of the 3 because there is a new layer of depth because they're going this like love letter to Hollywood angle versus the other 2, which are basically just the Three Stooges.
Okay, so they don't really have much plots in the other two, or
Uh,
it's kind of
there's
just
there's
them running.
there's plot, but it's never really the strong point of them.
Mm, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I was, I was kind of dreading this a little bit. I was like, I don't want to go see these minions and them talking
All right,
minionese and all this kind of
yeah, it's
stuff
like
like that.
I'm kind of over these little motherfuckers.
But I yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think it would be on my list of like favorite movies of the year or anything like that. But yeah, I still thought it was like it had some good moments in it. I think it had that. The voice performances are good in it. I think it knows when to get in, get out. And some of the gags I genuinely laughed at. Like this one where they meet one boss that's like this big cyclops. And he steps on like a Lego and everything like
Yeah,
that.
it's like
Um,
the Minions canonically invented Legos.
you know. Like I think that really works. And then you have James, who is like this artist. You know what I mean? He wants to, he doesn't want to just follow the minions, and he wants to not follow them. He wants to do his own thing and has his own kind of creativity, which I thought really kind of worked there. And if you ever stepped on a Lego before, that shit hurts like a motherfucker,
That
boy.
was the realest thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh. I was like, I didn't see this preview, and as soon as they showed the top of the brick, I was like, oh, I know this is coming, but I'm kind of dreading it too.
Oh man. So what be your final thoughts, man? Rating for Minions and Monsters.
So this is probably my favorite movie done by Illumination. They're kind of like the B-list studio as far as like grades in animation next to like Pixar and DreamWorks, but this is a very solid effort. It's like it perfectly balances what works about the previous movies, like with the physical comedy, with kind of the just absurdist nature, while also giving to this sincere, heartfelt story about the passion of filmmaking and the passion of art, which is something I was not expecting in a Minions movie.
Mm. Yeah, you related a lot with James there.
Yeah, I did. And and there's a lot of talk about like the references to older films, like the little clip of them redoing Citizen Kane that is going viral. But there's a ton of like jokes and references that I was getting. Like there's a lot of Buster Keaton stuff. There's like references to George Méliès and Lumiere, and like a lot of these very classic films that I remember learning about in college in film studies classes.
Mm.
So I was
Yeah.
like the only one in my theater that was like chuckling at that.
Mm. And yeah, you see the Minions making their movie there. They made a better movie than Ube Bowl, I think, when you see at the
Hey,
very end
James
there.
is a better director than Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Um,
is Uwe Boll still fighting his critics? Because come get that ass whoop, boy.
yeah, well, I guess you have to stand in line, man. There's a lot of people who want to get into that fight, man, with Ube Bowl there. But what will be your rating there for it?
Um, yeah, as far as, like, how much I enjoyed this, I gotta give this a tune in. Yeah, that's
Mm.
is shocking to hear because a Minions movie is actually pretty damn good. Um, uh, yeah, it just perfectly checked off a lot of boxes for what I look for in animated films, and, for a franchise that I'm kind of over, like Despicable Me 4 was among my worst of the year it came out. It was like, oh, thank God this wasn't terrible.
Mm. Okay, tune in. If I am gonna watch a Despicable Me, is it just good to start with the first one? Is that
Yeah,
good?
the first two are really good. I haven't seen the third one.
Okay. For me, with Minions and Monsters, I'd give it also a tune in. Like I said, it's a mix of film history, the good gags about that, the good stuff they kind of do with the Minions there. Being kind of these, like you said, Hollywood stars and kind of the silent era, and then them having to, reinvent themselves there.
Yeah,
I thought
that whole montage of them in the talkies was killing me.
yeah, like this scene right here. I think he's supposed to be what Humphrey Bogart in this.
Yeah, yeah, he's supposed to be Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, I thought that really worked. But yeah, so I think that kind of really is really good stuff there with that. And like I said, kind of like the plot of it, James being this aspiring artist, that's really great there too. So related to that to a little bit. Absolutely. So for me, I give it a tune in as well there with that. Had a lot more fun with this than I thought I would. I don't know if they're gonna try to strike the well again, maybe go for a fourth one. Maybe they'll probably will do that.
Maybe
Um,
finally answer the question of what were the Minions doing between 1933 and 1945.
Yeah, well, I think the director he already answered. He said they were like living in a cave or something.
Yeah, yeah, and the first Minions movie, it opens up with them like also traveling around like looking for a villain to work for, and they just ended up in a cave in Siberia.
Yeah. So you got that kind of going on. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe they do a fourth one. So who created the minions? Like,
I think it was, Pierre Coffin, the guy who directed this and also,
Oh, no,
does the
I
voice.
mean, in the world of the like, who
Oh,
designed them or
I
whatever?
think they were just always around.
Oh, okay, they don't have a Frankenstein, they don't have that or anybody,
No,
they just
no, I think the first movie opens up with a montage of, like, evolution, and the minions are just there. They were
okay,
there
yeah.
at the beginning, and they will be there at the end.
Wow, okay. Yeah, clearly they don't age, so I guess they're immortal. They're,
They're
uh
f I think they're functionally immortal. Like, as long as nobody a as l I wouldn't even know where you would begin to, like, kill a minion.
mm, yeah.
Maybe that's
So
the angle on the next movie.
that they contemplate life, it's like, why have they been alive for so long?
They do Toy Story 3, but for minions.
Yeah, and then
Actually,
these
that kinda
characters.
sounds good. That sounds like it would go hard, I'm not gonna lie.
And have these minions been in other minions like James and Ed and Henry and
No,
Dick?
these are 3, like, new ones that we haven't followed before. I think the first 2 Minions movies, Minions and Rise of Gru, they follow 3 other characters. I think it's, Bob, Kevin, and Stuart.
Okay, gotcha. Well, all right. 2 tune-ins for Minions and Monsters in theaters now.